Council. These are association, a Naga association in the present state of Manipur. They have submitted a representation to the government of Manipur saying that the present act, Autonomous District Council Act, should be amended, because the present act, I don't need to explain in detail, but it challenges the very existence of the tribal people and the Nagas in particular. And therefore, the association, the Nagas, Ansam and UNC raised this issue to the government of Manipur that this needs amendment, then only election should be imposed. Then, without even calling for negotiation, the Ibobi Singh government at Manipur has started issuing notification for the election of the district council. And with an excuse that there is a direction from the government of India to conduct the election. There was no negotiation whatsoever with the contenders, with the group who were demanding for amendment of the act. And therefore, since there is no positive response from the government of Manipur, the Ansam and the UNC launched the blockade, which you term it as economic blockade. Whereas in whichever term you term it, we have blocked the road leading to the Imphal Valley, because our voice was not heard, and the representation which was submitted to the government of Manipur was not addressed in the right perspective. Therefore, that economic blockade was launched since 12th of April. It's continuing till today. Now, what has happened after that? After the first phase of the election was over, of the district council, in fact, Nagas decided to abstain from participating from the election, because there are some other tribals in Manipur like Kuki, Paitis, Waipe, whatnot, so on and so forth. So they started selecting from these people and started filling up candidates even from the Naga areas. And therefore, to prove to the world that elections have been conducted. No doubt, we are very honest, 1-2 Naga candidates are also there, sponsored by Congress party, because that is the ruling party in Manipur. But all these Naga seats were also being filled by some other tribal people, especially by the ruling party, the Congress party. So many of them were declared as elected uncontested. After the first phase of the election was over, they have sent a filler for dialogue to the Ansam and UNC. The letter, reached them just 1 hour ahead of the meeting. The meeting was called in Imphal at 3 p.m. The letter of the government of Manipur reached them at 2 p.m. How can you, from Senapati to Imphal takes 3 hours to reach Imphal. How can you travel down? It's something impossible. Just trying to do face wash coverage kind of thing by Ibobi Singh. So they will claim that they have initiated negotiation, but we refuse. But that was the practical aspect, and that too, after completing the first phase of the election. Okay. Now, after which the situation compounded, no doubt, because the NSF, this is a body, for your information, which is not affiliated to any political parties, because in India, you call it Student Federation of India, whatnot, FCI, these are affiliated to Communist, Congress, BJP, so on and so forth. But for NSF, this is a body that represents the ways and sentiments of the Naga youth in particular, and the Nagas in general. We doesn't affiliate to any political parties, electoral political parties, nor to any other national group within the Nagas. We are an independent body, as I've stated. This is a body that represents the voice and sentiments of the Naga youth in particular, and the Nagas in general. And therefore, our jurisdiction stretches to all the Naga areas. For your information, majority of the Nagas and Naga land is still in Burma. Our jurisdiction stretches there. We have a representative from Burma. We have our jurisdiction stretches to Arunachal of 2 districts, Dirab and Changlang. We have our land people in Assam. We have 4 districts in Manipur. So we used to conduct conference, assembly, seminars, programs in all these areas. This time round, the NSF proposed to have Federal Assembly. It is supposed to be called after every 3 months to discuss the program and policies of the Federation. So the Federal Assembly was proposed on the 7th of May at Oinam village. Oinam is a village of the Pumai Naga village, now presently within the Senapati district, within the present map of Manipur state. And that assembly was notified 1 month ahead of the meeting. And on the 3rd of morning, 3rd May, NSF delegation were leaving for Oinam to conduct the assembly. Now what happened was, there is Nagaland, the present Nagaland and Manipur border called Blockade. The Manipur commandos and Manipur rifles erected boulders. With big boulders, they blocked the entire national highway, erecting barricades with about 1,000 Manipur rifles and commandos pointing their gun towards the NSF delegation because they were traveling towards the highway to reach the village. So the delegation of the NSF was stopped from the highway and asked them to go back. NSF asked why Nagas should not be allowed to enter the other Nagaland. Although now it is within the map of Manipur, but Naga people are there. We used to conduct our conference assembly there, so we should be allowed to move. But we were denied entry. And therefore, on the spot, the NSF submitted a representation to the government of Manipur, saying that you must immediately withdraw your forces, like the Manipur Rifles, Manipur Commandos, and other state forces, and also tender unconditional apology to the Naga Student Federation. Then only we can meet and discuss, we can resolve the issue. 24 hours was given to the government of Manipur, but no response whatsoever was given by the government of Manipur. Therefore, on the 4th evening, NSF announced that no Manipur registration vehicles will be allowed to move in the Naga areas, and it's going on till today. Even after announcing that, Ipopi did not respond positively to the call of the Federation, and therefore NSF has been continuing with this agitation, and issue compounded because that was on the 3rd, on the 5th, on the 6th of May, the Nagas were protesting at Blockade, especially the students and the women and children were protesting, staging a peaceful demonstration against the imposition of Section 144 CRPC in the Naga areas, also blocking the national highway by Manipur Commandos and Manipur Rifles, enforcing all sorts of state-sponsored terrorism by the Manipur government, and therefore Nagas staged a peaceful demonstration at Blockade. And while they were demonstrating, a group of Manipur armed rifles and commandos started shooting tear gas. Tear gas is a very, very powerful gas. No, I don't think any normal eye can face that kind of tear gas. So the crowd dispersed peacefully. While dispersing peacefully, the Manipur commandos and rifles started shooting at with the rifles, not with tear gas. After dispersing them, they started shooting. So 2 of our precious students were killed on the spot. Hundreds of them, including children and women, were wounded. Some are still undergoing treatment in many in the hospitals, especially in Nagaland. And 2-3 of them have succumbed to injuries. And thousands were displaced because that evening, Manipur commandos and Manipur rifles started going around in the neighboring villages, started shooting inside the houses. And therefore, with no option, with that kind of fear, psychosis, villagers cannot live in their house. They have to live, empty their house and went towards the neighboring villages like Kuzama, Visema, and Kitima. So about thousands were displaced. Nagas were displaced. So after which the villagers, since it was a big crowd, they also could not accommodate to their own houses. Yes, no doubt they have taken good care of them, but since it was a big number, Nagaland government also came forward in helping the displaced people and placed them in one place called Kisama. Kisama is a place where every year in the end of the year, December, they used to conduct Hornbill conference, Hornbill festival. And there is an empty structure there, so government of Nagaland came forward to help these displaced people and kept them for a month. Only last week, although situation is still tense, it is for villagers, it's a cultivation season for Naga villages.